Hey, how's it going YouTube? This is your boy Chosen and welcome to my first ever episode review. Yes, this is something new I'm trying out on the channel to flash out as much content as I can. Also, I think this benefits those who may not find the anime interesting but still wants to know what's going on. So with that said, expect a video every Sunday from now on. Alright, so Boruto episode 183 starts off with Kara. We know that all the members got called together, yet only two seem to show up. That being Delta and Code, and based off of their conversation, you can really tell that every Kara member is completely overconfident in themselves. We saw it with Kashin Koji when he and Vector were blambling on each other, and we also see it again later in the episode in a more extreme manner with Boro. Amado enters the room to gather the two, but just before he can, they question where everyone else is. That's when Amado tells Delta and Code the truth about Victor, which I'm surprised they didn't learn of immediately, as we see the clear shocked expression on their faces. We are then moved over to Boruto and the crew as they finally approach the facility Katasuke needed to go to in order to make the improvements towards Naruto's new arm, which apparently this research center is said to be bigger than the one in the Hidden Leaf. Katasuke also mentions that this facility is where they are developing the latest scientific ninja tools, which is clear that Naruto wanted the development of these new ninja tools to be moved to a more unknown location, most likely due to what happened in the tuning exam with one of the outers who we knew was Ao. With Naruto allowing the gates to be opened up to the public, even with multiple Kara members out there roaming around, he probably didn't want their most advanced work being developed in Konoha. So this does make sense as to why this facility is where all the new shit is going down. We also find out Katasuke isn't the one in charge of this facility, but his junior. We suddenly get surprised with Nue, who we all know belongs to Sumire, as she makes her grand reappearance, and not only her, but Akta, who we learn is the junior that is in charge of this facility. And you know, when I saw her at first, I was like, god damn, but then she had to just say it. She had the audacity to call Katasuke handsome out of all the people in the shinobi world.
Oh my god! Oh jeez, oh my god!
Even Boruto and Sarada were like, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? Now, but all jokes aside, after learning of her personality, which greatly resembles Hange from Attack on Titan, she is a freak for science and is probably the reason as to why she finds Katasuke so attractive. Gotta give it to the man, he's a genius. He managed to find a way to create an arm that literally absorbs chakra like Sasuke's Rinnegan jutsu. When we find out that Sumire was in the middle of testing a new scientific ninja tool in hopes of controlling Nue, which dating all the way back to the Jugo arc, we see her struggle to control them, which is why she made her decision from the beginning. As Katasuke and Akta are discussing the flaws with Naruto's arm, Boruto goes off on them about how this isn't a basic ninja tool for the scientific team and should be taken more seriously. As we know from the last episode that due to what happened in the tuning exams, Boruto hates scientific ninja tools because he only sees the negatives in them. And now for probably one of the best moments in the episode, Boruto and Mitsuki are challenged to fight Sarada 2-on-1. And normally you think they're going to completely destroy her, but that's not what happens here. Just as they're getting down with some taijutsu, Sarada suddenly shows off her Call of Duty skills and uses a ninja tool called the Smoke Flash Bomb, which is literally what it's called. The Smoke Flash Bomb is shown to paralyze its enemies and disable all their sensing abilities, which allows Sarada to get behind the two for their victory. If I'm not mistaken, this tool greatly resembles Kabuto's Sage Art White Rage, which he performed against Sasuke and Itachi. Obviously not as powerful, but I'm pretty sure the effects are more so the same, which is pretty impressive on its own. As Boruto continues to test out more and more ninja tech, he suddenly grows a bit fond of them and realizes how cool they can actually be. But it's not until Katasuke shows Boruto the final ninja tool we see in this episode that Boruto then shows his growth in terms of accepting them. After the testing is complete, Sumire sprays healing foam on Boruto's cheek, which instantly heals his wounds. And we are then learned that Sumire is working hard to control Nue, so that one day she can return to the Hidden Leaf village and prove more useful to her team, and goes on to say that she will be returning to the headquarters where Katasuke is located at in Konoha, meaning soon she'll be making her return to the whole gang. It is here that Boruto starts to learn of Katasuke's importance to the village as we get introduced to Chamaru, who is a ninja hound that unfortunately lost his leg. But when Katasuke one day met up with Akta, he developed a new leg for the dog to use, proving to Boruto once again that scientific ninja tools should only be judged by how you use them. As hard as it is to accept change, these ninja tools in fact have proven to not only Boruto but us that they indeed would prove very useful to shinobis in not only combat but everyday life, which is why Naruto and even Sasuke are so open to them, which we saw in episode 181. Akta then reveals that it was since helping her dog, she decided to become his assistant after learning how amazing he was as a scientist, which is also probably the reason again as to why she's so fond of him. I mean, no offense to the dude, but I'm pretty sure she was more into him as a person, which then translated over to his looks afterward. She loves science probably just as much as him, so she clearly looks up to him. So all jokes aside, I understand where this interest is coming from on her side. And now we get introduced to probably the coolest ninja tool we've seen so far, and that is the Chakra Blade, which looks exactly like a lightsaber from Star Wars. This ninja tool seems to work by one converting their own chakra onto the blade, which once I saw this, immediately got asking if Naruto were to hold possession of one of these and going into 6-path mode, would the chakra change color to yellow? We'll probably never know, but if that day ever comes, I'd love to find out. The problem with these chakra blades, however, is that they take up way too much chakra, which shows that a lot of these creations need some work, but when they finally reach their full potential, will prove useful to those using it. And now after completing his mission with Katasuke, Boruto goes on to encourage him in his research, showing that Boruto is now as well open to the idea of the tools. Hasn't fully come to terms with it because that moment will happen very soon in the anime, but nonetheless, the development is there. Boruto then gets a call from Naruto informing to go check out the airship crash site due to them losing contact with Konohamaru. As for Kara, Delta and Code are sent with a model to complete an emergency maintenance, which isn't actually an emergency maintenance. The team shows concern as strange things start to happen. First, Kara loses 2 inner members, then Boruto doesn't show when called. Well, actually he does, but claims he's been chosen by God, so he doesn't need to waste his time on foolish checkups. And again, this is what I meant by each member being way too full of themselves. Then Delta and Code begin to suspect Boro being the one who crashed the site. The ending of the episode involves Jigen and Amato, as we learn this emergency maintenance was just a way to see if any of these 2 members were the training behind the crash. As this is happening, we see Code observing from the distance and the episode ends there. In my opinion, I did really like this episode. We got to see Boruto's perspective on the ninja tools change literally from just one episode, all while continuing to get some of those juicy Kara scenes, which I'm loving, and which is also why I'm so much more interested in the anime compared to the manga, which does leave a lot of holes missing. Like literally, we have gotten more from Code just off the anime so far compared to the manga, and we're probably not gonna cross this arc in the manga till maybe 2022. But anyways guys, let me know what you thought of this episode. I'll be back again next week to cover episode 184. So thank you guys for watching all the way until the end, and I'll catch you on the next one.